She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Check, we got it. This is Dani Johnson. Sorry for that technical difficulty, but we're here live. It is, what is it? Yes, it is the time of the week where some people are starting to get stir crazy and ready for some good things to happen. Listen, I wanted to tell you about something really special that happened yesterday. Well, first of all, if this is your very first time joining the Dani Johnson Show, welcome. We're here Monday through Friday, 12 to 2 Eastern Time, and then Wednesday, Saturday, and Sundays. And those are usually on TV and radio, or you can stream all the time on our website. Today, we're going to talk about money again, because yesterday we had a very powerful show giving you tips and strategies about being able to pay off debt, places to find money that seems to be hiding or going into places that really are not helping you get to where you want to go. I had a special guest on yesterday. If you missed the show, her name is Raven. She actually works full-time within our corporate office, and she actually works on this show, and she's paid off $23,000 worth of debt. But she shares some of the insights about some things that had to change inside of her that caused her to be in debt. In fact, over $400,000 in debt at some point. And how she's been able to be free now from living her life according to stuff and being controlled by that stuff. Well, the reason why I'm so passionate about you getting out of debt and you being free is because it is truly modern day slavery. And my husband and I were idiots financially. We both grew up on welfare. My husband grew up on the streets. He was raised by a single mom who just couldn't quite find her footing for a secure income for her children. And they were always dependent on other things. And my husband at the age 8 years old actually ended up having to help provide for the family with going out and making money to buy dinner or to buy shoes or buy school supplies. That's how poor they were. And he never had a bedroom. He always slept out on the lanai, which was the porch. He slept out on the porch on a lounge chair. And since he was 12 years old, he's been on his own. In fact, he even then supported his mother. His mother moved in with him while he was a teenager, and he supported his mom. So we both grew up not in the best set of financial circumstances. My family were welfare recipients. I never saw my parents go to work. My mom attempted to go to college for a short season while I was maybe 6 or 7 years old, but really never went and did anything with the nursing thing that she was trying to pursue. And so my parents were welfare recipients until I was about 13, 14 years old. And due to a terrible, tragic accident, my mom had broken her neck, and there was a lawsuit that was involved, and she received some money because of some malpractice that had happened. So by the time she received all that money, I was 14 years old. I moved out at the age of 16 because of all of the violence. Money did not change our life for the positive. All it did was buy a big house. They bought a bunch of new cars. They bought a big old fat diamond ring for my mother. But outside, and steaks rather than, cheap food that we used to eat while we were on welfare. But now they were buying steaks sometimes every single night. Steaks were in. But the drugs that they did when they were on welfare now intensified to more expensive drugs like cocaine and prescription drugs, bags and bags of pills of prescription drugs. And so it just wasn't weed anymore. But now it was like a tremendous arsenal of illegal drugs and prescription drugs. And it just intensified the rage. And my childhood was just filled with torment. I was emotionally tormented by who I thought was my father. When I was 17 and a half, I found out that he wasn't even my dad. And the mental torment that he would bring, there was just so much pain and suffering from either me getting beaten or seeing my mother and my sisters be beaten. So I wasn't really trained up to succeed in any area of my life. And I think my parents did the best that they could based on what they knew what to do. And I just made a commitment early on that I don't want to be like that. I don't want to hand this kind of a life down to my kids. So at 19, I got introduced to the concept of becoming a business owner, and I got started in business at 19. I failed miserably because I didn't know what I was doing. Then I invested $25,000 in a 6-month period into training seminars that I would learn. I knew I didn't know what I was doing, and it was obvious because I couldn't make any money, and I really desperately wanted to make money. I didn't need to make $1 million or anything like that. I just wanted to make something to provide for myself. And so I started to make money after that $25,000 investment. In fact, I made $50,000 in that 6-month period, only to screw up really bad. I met and married a guy that I knew for 7 days. And within 4 months, my business was embezzled. I had $2.03 to my name, a $35,000 debt, and I was completely hopeless in every way. Through that experience, I used these skill sets that I had learned the year before. I'm 21 now and I'm homeless, and I start a new business from the trunk of my car in a payphone booth. And see, there's something so powerful about skill set. No one can steal that from you. Whatever investment you make into your own skill and your knowledge and wisdom, no one can ever steal that from you. The more you use that, the more that can actually grow. So I made $250,000 my very first year, and by the end of my second year, I had made my first million. Today, I'm a multi-millionaire with several companies. I'm a mom with 5 kids, 5 grandchildren, and we have several companies that do a number of different things around the world. I speak internationally, a best-selling author. We run this radio and television show. It's on, actually airs 7 days a week that you can find the show via radio, television, or even streaming live on the website. And so I want to say hi, first of all, to all of our web viewers, as well as those that are listening to the app, the DaniJohnson.com app, because if you travel out of the area and you're, the radio station in the new area that you're in doesn't carry the show, well, then you can certainly listen to it live on the app. So, getting to what we're going to be talking about today. So finances is very important to me because of how I grew up and the mistakes that my husband and I made the first 10 years that we were making money. We made millions of dollars in that 10 years, but we ended up broke at the end of the 10 years. We always seem to have made a lot and lost a lot, living paycheck to paycheck. Now, you have to ask yourself, how is that possible? How in the world can you live paycheck to paycheck when you're making that kind of money? Because going into debt is actually a habit. It has nothing to do with how much money you make. It has everything to do with how you spend. And I was so addicted to spending. I had a crazy habit of spending $25,000 a month, whether it be on clothes or jewelry or fun, like vacationing and cruises or staying in the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. But obviously, when I was broke, I couldn't stay in that Waldorf Astoria Hotel. In fact, I couldn't stay in any hotel. However, the more that I made, the more that I spent. And that's what most people are doing in the world today, is the more they make, the more they spend. So, on that note, I want to show you today, we're going to go even deeper today, because money actually is a heart issue. It's a personal growth issue. And many of us spend out of insecurities. We're trying to cover something up that's inside of us. That's how it was for me, and that's how it has been for the hundreds of thousands of people that I've worked with around the world, is that there's an ego motivation, if you will, and that's what it was in me. There I was in my gigantic house, and I just have little kids. My oldest was 7 years old at the time, and we were spending a crazy amount of money every single month just to live for our basic living expenses. My bedroom suite was 1,500 square feet. I hear a voice ask me a question, who is this all for? Well, I knew it wasn't for my husband. My husband was a simple man. He wasn't somebody that needed to have the 6,000 square feet in this giant guest house and a pool and a tennis court and gorgeous views of the backside of Yosemite National Park. I knew that that wasn't for him. And it certainly wasn't for my children. They didn't need 10 acres to run on. They didn't need a tennis court. They didn't need any of that stuff. They were fine in the last house where we had a half an acre and a Walmart swing set. So then who was this house and all of this stuff, all this grandeur, who was it all for? Boiled down, friend, that it was down to me and my big fat ego trip. I was trying to buy my way, spend my way into feeling like I had made it. Feeling and trying to prove to everybody outside of me that I had succeeded. But the reality is, I still felt empty. I still felt that I was not successful. It could have been because the $100,000 in credit card and car debt and the $700,000 mortgage could have been why I was not feeling successful. Even though on the outside, here's the dream house. On the outside, here's that dream marriage. On the outside, here is the dream cars, many cars, okay? The dream clothes, the popularity that we had in business. All of it was just empty. It meant nothing. No matter how high I climbed, I still felt worthless, useless. I still felt like a failure. I still would hear the voices of what my father verbally abused me with, those terms that I can't even say live on the air. They're filthy, they're disgusting, they're illegal to actually speak live on the radio. So you can only imagine, you can fill in the blanks of what I was called as a kid. If I can't share it here live on the air, then, it's something that would be in a rated R movie. In fact, there's words that my dad used that wouldn't even be said in a rated R movie. That's how filthy. Did you hear me? Filthy. That those words were. So, yeah. I don't know. I was a failure inside. And as a failure inside, I was failing financially on the outside too. When we continue, I want to talk to you about the kingdom of self. And one of the things that we did, that we started with a simple holiday actually, that began to break the greed off of our lives, that began to change us from no longer living paycheck to paycheck, but living well below our means and feeling that pressure come off of us of trying to perform for who? Everybody that was around us? It sucks to live like that. You know it does. You might be living like that. So stay right here. When we continue, I'm going to give you just one simple little thing that we did to break the greed in our lives. We'll continue after this.
Stay right here for more of the Dani Johnson Show.
Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
No matter where she goes on this planet, she finds people of all stripes. Emeralds, rubies, sapphires, pearls. She's made it a point to teach success better than anyone else in America. So welcome to the international headquarters of your new future. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
This is Dani Johnson from DaniJohnson.com. We're talking about money and really the kingdom of self, which I was completely 100% overcome by. There's a lot of people in debt right now, and that, to me, is a tragedy. My husband and I once were in debt. We were a couple who fought because of that debt. We felt the pressure of it. We felt like slaves. No matter how hard we worked, we never got ahead because we always spent more than what we made. And that was out of a habit. A habit. We learned that habit as kids, watching our parents live paycheck to paycheck. I don't know where you learned your financial habits, but we seem to learn financial habits from all of those that are around us and from the messaging that we see on television. The television is telling you and I that if we want to go on a dream vacation, all we have to do is don't leave home without American Express. The television, the media is telling us that in order for us to have the dream life and to have freedom and go out to dinner and stay in nice places and have some fine dining is with Visa, MasterCard, and Discover. That's not the truth. You do not have to be in debt to live the lifestyle that you want to live. One of the things that my husband and I did early on when we began to, let's say, crush this kingdom of self, which consisted of great amount of greed, is we began to build the muscle of self-control. We began to build that muscle of self-discipline, something that we did not have. Because whatever our cravings desired, we went in the direction of our cravings instead of using wisdom. Now see, wealth is accumulated through wisdom. Riches, if you go after riches, they run away from you. They run faster than you could ever run. And riches, yes, especially those that are chasing get-rich-quick schemes, that get-rich-quick scheme will always run a little bit faster than you do. And it is frustrating. Trust me, we did that for years. So the reality is that one of the things that we had to do to kill our greed and to begin to start accumulating wealth, because wealth is accumulated. It's not something that's built fast, but it's accumulated through wisdom, self-discipline, and a strategic plan. I'm happy to say that the last 14 years of our lives, we no longer are stupid financially. And we make mistakes still financially. Don't get me wrong. We do. However, we're much more self-disciplined. We're much more focused. We've got formulas, and we've been able to accumulate millions of dollars in business as a direct result of that. And so one of the things that we did to kill our greed was saying no to things that we just did not need. You have to learn the difference between making an investment versus spending foolishly. And so let me give you a prime example of something that is cultural in our world today. Christmas, birthdays, Mother's Day, Father's Day. We live in a world that has conditioned us through the marketing of the media saying, I want, I want, I want. So just think about, for example, your birthday, right? Your birthday is either one that you try to forget is happening because it's always such a disappointment. People do not get you what you want for your birthday. You have a list of things that you want. They forgot that you wanted those things and even cared that you wanted those things. So it's a major disappointment. So you almost like guard yourself in advance and you just go, oh, forget it. I don't want anything. No, thank you. And you hate your birthday and you try to just go beyond your birthday. You know, you just try to move through it. Or you have this birthday where like, I want, right? Like, oh, I want this. And if you're single or not, I know married people do this too. They buy themselves something for their birthday, or they buy themselves something for Christmas. This is conditioning, friend. Since we were little kids, what do you want for Christmas? What do you want for your birthday? Now, you might be saying right now, well, Dani, who cares? I mean, so what? Once a year, I want. But really, is it only once a year? You know it's not once a year. The I want, and I deserve is daily. It's just magnified at Christmas. It's just magnified for your birthday. And if you're a mom, it's magnified on Mother's Day. The I want is a whisper talking to you every day. I want my Starbucks. Hey, I worked hard this week. I deserve to eat out. I want. It's killing us. It's making us really fat. It's making us broke. When we continue, I'm going to share a story with you that's going to shock you. Transformation is about to come into your life if you listen to what we're about to share with you. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue after this. The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
There's just so much that she's done to help people, to help their children face the next generation with success, to declare war on things that tear families apart, and to look people straight in the eye and to tell them how much they mean to her.
There is no one else
like this lady right here. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. Hey, today you have the opportunity to get yourself out of debt. Today you have the chance to live your life by design instead of living it by default. All too often, we have a tendency of living our life not according to what our desires are, but according to how everybody else seems to live it. Joining me right now is my spiritual daughter, Isa. Isa is a, very well-known, internationally known artist. Hundreds of thousands of people have heard her music, downloaded, listened to her music from literally all over the world. She's got fan bases from Brazil to Australia, all over the UK, Canada, US, down into Mexico, South America, you name it. They have heard the name of Isa Agape. Her music is unbelievable. And she's been a very successful professional artist for the last 10 years. Yeah, it's been 10 years or more. Yeah.
It's been a while.
It has. That's incredible. Okay, well, Isa actually came to us 8.5 years ago. Was her very first time ever hearing about DaniJohnson.com, and she came to us at over $200,000 in debt.
That's right.
Yeah. And a shopaholic.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about what your life was like during that time of like $200,000 of slavery, and what was the debt from?
The debt, when I first met you, the debt was from, I was pretty depressed. I was not sure of my future. I had just finished my first full-length album, and I didn't know how to market it or sell it to people, so I was kind of clueless in that area.
And you had $42,000 worth of debt just for that album.
Yes. Yes, I did.
That's how much it cost to make that album. And that's what you thought it would always cost to make albums, that's what it has to, that's the cost of doing it.
Yeah. Yes.
And it probably didn't dawn on you that you have to sell the album in order to pay that back.
Yeah, I kind of figured that out after the fact. I was pretty depressed. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life. I was sure that I wanted to do music, but I didn't know really how to do that. And so when I met you, I was in quite a bit of debt from my music and from school and from living out of my credit cards for a really long time. And so that was pretty that was a pretty sucky time in my life. And I kind of wanted to figure out what to do, how to do it, and I met you in your kitchen while you were cooking enchiladas, and I remember Cabe was like really small, and that day kind of changed the course of my life. So I was pretty messed up.
So you came to your first steps in January of that year.
Yes, yes, I did,
and heard about War on Debt. And I taught exactly like where to find the money, where it's going. And at the time you thought, I don't have any wasteful spending at all.
Yeah, I was wrong about that. I found $400 of wasteful spending in my budget, and a lot of it was going to Starbucks and going to the movie theaters a lot and eating out a lot and not really budgeting my my food properly. So I was definitely wrong about that. So yeah.
It's so interesting because so many people think, you know, they live paycheck to paycheck, and they're thinking, no, really, I don't have the money. That really is it. If I had the money, I'd pay off my debt. Here's an interesting quote that Mary pulled, our coworker pulled for today's show. Rather go to bed without dinner than to rise in debt. Benjamin Franklin said that. Isn't it interesting that largely in this country and in other countries, successful, not successful, but I will say non-third world countries around the world, they don't have this mindset. But this is the mindset that our country was founded on, saying you go to bed hungry and you pay your debts. Here's another one, Rutherford Hayes. He said, let every man, every corporation, and especially let every village, town, and city, every country and state get out of debt and keep out of debt. It is the debtor that is ruined by hard times. Now, that is such a different mindset than what we carry today. Look, you had $200,000. You didn't even know that you had $200,000 worth of debt. Right?
No, I didn't. I did not know that I had $200,000 worth of debt.
And that's a lot of people. They don't even know how much debt that they're actually carrying. Yeah. Hasn't even dawned on them that they should know, but they're going more and more in debt, sometimes on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. So here you have all this debt, and you're at the movies, you're eating out, you're spending money on luxuries like Starbucks and going to restaurants and entertainment, and still buying clothes.
Yeah, still buying clothes and shoes and bags and hats and all of the things that I'm seriously obsessed with. So yes, I was still buying stuff.
As though you had no debt.
Yeah, kind of.
What were you thinking you were going to do with your debt before you came to First Steps to Success?
Honestly, I was hoping that somebody would pay off my debt. I was kind of in that mindset of I'm just going to ignore it and pray that it goes away. Seriously, that's where I was. Like, I was just like, somebody's going to pay off my debt, and it's going to be, you know, God's going to bring someone, and then I can do my thing and be free and not feel the burden of it and not feel the shame of it. And so I was praying that things would be better.
Wow.
That's where I was.
Wow. Okay, now look, let's attack this for a second, because this is a common mindset, especially in the church, right? Because what we've been force-fed in the church, depending on what, brand of a church that you live in, brand meaning denomination, but if you come from that charismatic, Pentecostal type of evangelical kind of a background in a church, you've really been spoon-fed heresy. That somehow, if you just pray, your debt's going to disappear. Or that it's someone else's job to pay off your debt. Or hear that you could be totally financially irresponsible. Totally, completely financially irresponsible. And that somehow it's God's job to pay off your debt.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Can you believe that's how you used to think?
Yeah. I'm like, how do I answer that? I can't believe it. Yeah.
It's sad. Now, mind you, this is what I identify at First Steps to Success as a 98% mentality. 98% of the population is looking to get lucky. They're ignoring their finances. They're ignoring their debts. They're ignoring their personal responsibilities and expecting, and if, again, they're a believer of a Pentecostal type of a movement, they're expecting that the debt fairy's going to come and cancel all the debt, right? And especially when we hear the preachers and the pastors with, all due respect, however, telling people, well, if you just give into my ministry and write a check for $2,000 right now, and then you will be able, God has given you a promise that he's going to cancel your debt. I'm so sorry, you won't find that in the scriptures. You will not find financial irresponsibility being blessed by debt cancellation, period. It doesn't exist there. So the reality is that you finally got the picture that Isa is going to have to pay off her debt.
Yes, I did. And it felt kind of like an impossible task, honestly. I grew up, I remember my parents lining up in the welfare line to get cheese and bread, and I remember paying for groceries with government money. I remember all of that, so I always felt like it was impossible to live a life of financial freedom, and when I realized that wasn't the right thinking, that waiting on God to pay off my debt wasn't the right thinking, I realized, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can pay off, this amount of debt. I was thinking that I would probably live under the weight of it for the rest of my life.
Yep. And so you began to step out and follow directions with War on Debt.
Yes.
And today you are completely debt-free. You've paid off all of your debt, $207,000 worth of debt. So I guess you were not going to spend the rest of your life in debt.
I guess not. No. Yeah, I'm a happy girl right now.
How does it feel to be completely debt-free?
I'm still trying to figure that out, honestly. It feels great. It feels humbling. It feels it's a different kind of freedom.
Yeah.
Like, I've experienced freedom in my life, but this is a different kind of freedom, and I'm still trying to put words to what that is.
This is Dani Johnson. We're going to continue more with Issa's story and where she is today. Like, what is she working towards financially today? And what kind of things did she have to overcome internally to be able to fight this gigantic mountain of debt? Imagine being single with $207,000 worth of debt and certainly not an income anywhere near the size of that debt. How in the world do you push through? What were the challenges? How did she overcome? We'll continue with more of the Dani Johnson Show right after this. This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your freedom, your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
There's just so much that she's done to help people, to help their children face the next generation with success, to declare war on things that tear families apart, and to look people straight in the eye and to tell them how much they mean to her.
There is no one else
like this lady right here. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
You got to quit your whining and you got to quit your lame excuses for your debt. It's not going to disappear. It's up to you to annihilate that thing. Quit trying to figure out how to motivate yourself and just start to take action. Then you can start to live the way you want to live. You know, we make all these excuses about, oh, I wish I could pursue my music career. I wish I could pursue my acting career. I wish I could pursue my writing career, but I just can't afford it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Stop letting the money go to stupid places and now redirect it to making investments into your skill set so that you can act, sing, model, or dance, or be an author, or whatever it is that's on your list of things to do. Start a business. Quit letting the money being robbed into foolishness and start turning the money into wisdom, yielding great harvest, awesome results from that. Which, by the way, if you really do have that dream to sing, to model, you want to be in fashion, you want to be in Hollywood, you want to be in Broadway, you want to go to Nashville, you want to be that person that is in the performing arts industry. You know it's a calling on your life. You just don't know how to go about getting yourself known or found or even getting signed for that music or for acting or for fashion or even being a comedian. Whatever part of the performing arts that you want to do, I know a friend of ours that can help you. AMTCauditions.com. AMTC has been in business for 25 years. They have successfully helped thousands of people get into Hollywood, get into their local theater, launch their music careers, and do it very successfully. They're doing free auditions right now in your local area. Call them at 800-STAR-420. Again, that's 800-STAR-420. 20, or go to amtcauditions.com. That's amtcauditions.com. I'm taking your calls for financial advice. You've got debt, you want help and strategies to be able to take that thing off of your back and to succeed. 844-439-1391. Again, that's 844-439-1391. I've got Diane from Pennsylvania. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hey, thanks, Dani. Amazing show today. Just like to make a comment on what I heard Issa say and what I heard you say. As she was paying off her debt, she was thinking about what she was going to spend her money on, and that just slammed me so badly. Like, oh, my gosh. Like, oh, yeah, me too. So that's huge. And then the other thing was I just wanted to shout out and thank you for all the help that you've been giving us to be able to pay off $145,000 of debt in 3 years. It's just been quite the ride.
That's awesome. I'm proud of you, Diane.
So
and I'm really proud of you for listening to the show. I know you're a faithful listener to this broadcast, and I know you spread the news about it. I see what you do on Facebook with all of our clients. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you for that. But the thing I appreciate about what you heard was that still in the back of your mind, this spender is talking to you, right?
Yeah.
Even though you're attacking your debt. Boy, once I'm debt-free, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to go here, versus I'm going to accumulate wealth.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Me sick. I got sick. I'm like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
How many times have I heard it? And you know what? I thought to myself, had I not been listening today, what part of the message would I have wanted to miss?
Yep. Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Because it was so huge. I really was kind of puffed up and feeling good, like, oh, you know, we're making really great progress. We're not spending here. We're not doing this and we're not doing that. But we're thinking about what we're going to be spending our money on. And we missed it. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
I caught it.
Yes, and that's crossing the bridge into 2%. And again, it's good to have a fund budget. But when the fund budget has exceeded the debt budget, there's a huge problem. Huge problem. When the fund budget has exceeded even how much your 10% that you give to orphans, there's a problem. There's a big problem. And so it's about really prioritizing that money and really accumulating wealth for the next generation that's below you so that we do not leave them with nothing. Diane, I appreciate the call. Thank you so much for being here. I've got Leslie calling in from Hawaii. Hey, that's awesome. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What can I do for you, love?
Well, I had a question. You know, I've been following you for a little bit, and because I, got referred to you from a family member, and my question is, how can I guess, increase our family income when I have such a large family? I have 8 children, and we're a one-income household right now.
Okay. Well, I've got such a story for you, and I think she might be listening right now. We have a client in Portland, Oregon, who had 7 children, 9 people in the family, and they had one income. She's a homeschooling mom of these 7 kids, all of which at the time were teenagers all the way down to little grammar school kids. And she's the homeschooling mother of these kids, and her husband is the breadwinner, and he's just a police officer. They don't make a lot of money. They don't. I don't care what part of the country someone's a cop. They don't make a lot of money. So they had over $250,000 worth of debt. And they were spending $1,600 a month on food to feed the 9 people in their family. Well, she learned through War on Debt how to take that food budget to $384 a month. From $1,600 a month to $384. Let's just ramp it up and call it $400 to feed 9 people, most of them big adult people. So what I'm hearing you say is you're using the amount of people in your family as an excuse. You cannot use them as an excuse. $20 per person for food per week. If I can do that with my family and I'm the millionaire and I choose to live frugal like that so I can feed orphans with the rest of the money that I normally would be blowing on food, you can certainly get the food budget down to $20 per person per month for food. So she saved, hello, $1,200 a month in just wasted food. That $1,200 a month, in your case, can go towards debt, or that's actually extra income, Leslie. That's $1,200 a month of extra income. There's a lot of places, if you print out your bank statement, you'll see where all the money is going. And you have to ask yourself the question, is this worth it feeling like we're strapped financially? Because there's actually extra income already in your budget. You're just letting it leak out into places that are totally not worth it. So that's the first thing I would do, because you'll not make more money if you're not faithful with the little things. If you're not faithful with the money you already have, you'll not be given more. So you first have to get faithful and frugal with a little bit. Leslie, thanks so much for listening all the way from Hawaii. Thanks for being here. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 2 Eastern time. Thanks for joining me. By the way, have a great rest of the week. God bless you, and put these financial principles in place today and take action. Hi, welcome to the Dani Johnson YouTube channel. We're super excited to have you here. And every single week, we're gonna make sure that you get awesome videos for your business, career, making more money, saving money, annihilating your debt, as well as helping you to handle those really tough problems that you have with people at home, as well as at work, and taking those really good relationships you already have and causing them to flourish and grow. All you have to do is click that subscribe button right down here. Click that and you'll be subscribed to an amazing community of people, as well as some great videos that will help to improve your life. Thanks so much for being here. Subscribe now would be good. Just click it. I know you can see it. It's somewhere down here. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.